Would you help me to bring to this rostrum our brother, Nuri Muhammad? Bring him on with a round of
Man, love you so much, man.
Love
Thank
you
you
back,
man.
man. Love you so much.
Thank you. You don't need me. All right, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. All praises I do to Allah. Thank you so much. Please be seated. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah who intervened in our affairs in the form of a well-made man named Master Fard Muhammad. We forever thank him for coming among us and raising up in our midst his messenger, Messiah, in my humble opinion, the greatest black man that ever walked the earth other than God himself. I'm talking about a Georgia-born black man by the name of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thought a few of you would have clapped a little bit more aggressive than that. I said the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me tell you something. Anytime you hear the name Elijah Muhammad, you should throw your shoulders back. Hold your head high. You should put a smile on your face. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the executive producer of everything good, powerful, and black here in the hills of North America. Make no mistake about it. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't have been a Stokely Carmichael. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't have been a Huey P. Newton. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't have been a H. Rap Brown. The Black Panther Party's original name was the Sons of Malcolm. Well, you couldn't have been a son of Malcolm if Malcolm didn't have a father. And Malcolm's father was the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't have been an Imam Wardeen. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't have been a Muhammad Ali. If there were no Elijah Muhammad, there wouldn't be a Louis Farrakhan. And if there were no Farrakhan, we wouldn't even be here right now trying to get ourselves together by the grace of Almighty God, Allah. So when you hear that black man's name mentioned, we should always put our hand on our heart and show some love. We thank the God and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for putting their two hearts and hands and minds together to form one in our midst today that is, without a shadow of a doubt, a divine leader, teacher, and guide for you and me. I'm saying to you, when you mention this man, you can't put him in the train or the line of some activist or bishop or some organizational leader, some sheikh or some bulla. You cannot say Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan. You cannot say W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, Louis Farrakhan. When you mention Farrakhan's name, you got to say Moses, Aaron, Joshua, Abraham, Elijah, Jesus, Muhammad, Farrakhan, because he's in that line of divine. He's not a Negro leader. He's the messenger of God in our midst today. It is in their holy and righteous names, my sisters and brothers, that I greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Oh man, I'm so happy to be here at Muhammad Mosque number 27 with the mighty Muslims of Los Angeles and to be able to rub elbows with my brother from Mosque 54 who really originally came from Mosque 74, and thank Allah for him and all that he did to help us to raise the flag higher on 38th Street down in Klan country, a.k.a. Indianapolis. Thank you, Brother Mustaqim, for all your sacrifices and your family sacrifices. Love you much. I have a confession to make that when I first was introduced to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was blessed to get hold of 2 tapes by the minister and 1 book called Message to the Black Man. And as I began to read and nurse from the book and these tapes, I began to look at and study and practice the teachings in a way that was in accord with what I read in the book. But at the time, I showed up one day to come to the little study group in Indianapolis, and those that were representing the teachings, they didn't seem to be on the same frequency or the same channel, if you will, as what I was reading in the books. But there was one day an invitation for a guest speaker on a Wednesday night meeting. And I showed up at the Wednesday night meeting, 16 years of age in high school, sitting on the front row, reading my Final Call newspaper at 7 o'clock, even though it started at 7:30. And lo and behold, when this brother took the rostrum, it was my first time seeing subject and verb agreement. And I said that day that what I heard thus far didn't seem to match quite what I read thus far. But this brother is representing the teachings in such a way that I can see that the book can be put in human form. And it was that day that I made up my mind that I am going to be a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that brother that was on that rostrum that day, that touched my heart like no one had ever touched my heart before, was your student minister, Brother Abdul Malik Muhammad. He was the one that became part of the fishing pole that brought me into the ranks. Love you so much. Thank you. He taught on the power of the X and made me want to get me an X so I can get some of that power. Sisters and brothers, before I began, I have to tell you that when I had an opportunity to speak with the minister, he was so happy to know that we were coming out here. And he extends his love and greetings to you of Assalamu alaikum. We will do just that, and for anybody looking around at us thinking there's something wrong with us for what we just did, no, there ain't nothing wrong with us, but there's something wrong with you if you had a problem with it. Because last I checked, right here in L.A., when that no-good ham sandwich eating judge walks out, the little dude in the police, the bailiff in the corner, what does he tell the court? All rise. And then they got the nerve to say the Honorable Judge so-and-so now preside, far kind of more honorable than any judge in California. And he's more worthy to be stood for. After all, he's been standing for us for 66 years. So anytime he gives that greeting, we extend that greeting back with the biggest smile we can put on our face. I'm pleased to announce to you, mighty brothers and sisters of Los Angeles, that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is in good health, and he's in good spirit. 90 years young, feeling good, moving good, thinking good. Oh, praise I do to Allah. That should make your heart feel good. I don't know about you, but the footnote to every goal I have in my life is to put a smile on that black man's face. And whenever you can see someone that has been working as hard as he's been working for God and the people of God, and he's not in a nursing home, he's not in hospice care, he's not in a bed, but he can walk, he can talk, has full function and capabilities of a sane mind. And whenever you hear him talk, you don't hear the crackle of a senior citizen. You don't hear the fatigue of somebody that's worn out. You still hear the mighty roar of the Lion of God. I thank Allah for the health, for the spirit, for the joy that man is possessing right now. My assignment today for these next 45 minutes is to unpack a subject titled One Hood Under God. Yes, we did take this from the founding fathers. The big difference, though, we're telling the truth and they're lying. Matter of fact, when they said one nation under God, they wasn't talking about the God we believe in. When you say God, you're thinking about Allah. When you say God, you're thinking about the Creator. When we say God, we're thinking about the Father of everything, the revealer of all truth, the sender of all prophets, the one that created anything, everything. We're thinking about the Lord of all the worlds. But whenever the Caucasian talks about God on the back of the dollar and the founding fathers wrote in the Constitution, they weren't talking about the supreme being. They were talking about God not as a name, but as an acronym. You know what an acronym is, right? An acronym is when you have a word, but every letter in the word represents another word. Like the CIA is an acronym. It stands for the Cocaine Import Agency. Huh? What? FBI finding a black man to incarcerate. Media most effective devil in America. You got a job? You just over broke. Is that right? NAACP. Negroes always asking Caucasians permission. Now I know they ain't what it's supposed to be, but that's what it has been. They call him the Pope, protector of pedophiles everywhere. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, but that's what it has been. That's what it has been now. I'm just saying. But there also is some positive acronyms that you can find. CRIP can be a positive acronym. Community Restoration in Progress. Blood can be a positive acronym. Brotherly love over oppressive destruction. What y'all think? We are in the blessed month of Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak. This is the month of fasting. This is the month of purification. This is a month where for 12 to 15 hours of the day we engage in no sexual intercourse with our mates. Drink no water, eat no food. And don't you know that it's food, sex, and water that brought us here or keeps us here? So if you can know, and I can go for 30 days, 12 to 15 hours a day denying what brought us here, that's natural. Then that tells us we're strong enough to break any habit that we have plaguing us. But you can convert Ramadan into an acronym. Remembering Allah morning, afternoon, day, and night. It's an acronym. Where we get Ramadan from? We got it from Islam. The ideal system of living for all of man. And if you follow that system perfectly, you can say at the end of the process, I, self-Lord, am a master. It's an acronym. But when they said G-O-D, they were talking about gold, oil, and drugs. Surely this is not a nation under God. How can this be a nation under God when it's illegal to pray in the school? When I was coming up in school, they used to make us take the Pledge of Allegiance. And I used to get my hand smacked for refusing to put my hand on my heart. Well, hell, we need to go smack the school board's hand and the city council and the state legislators, the governor. Maybe we need to smack more than their hand. How can you come to an institution to acquire knowledge and it be illegal to salute and honor the author of knowledge? That's bass backward. Y'all didn't catch that. Y'all didn't catch that. Illegal to pray, but legal to gamble. Illegal to pray, but legal to buy alcohol. Illegal to pray, but legal to smoke. What kind of nation is this? This is not a nation under God. This is a nation under tyranny, oppression, injustice, white supremacy, wickedness. This is a nation under the devil himself. So we want to know. Like Jesus said, he said, I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. We want to know how our communities can be in America, but not of America. How can our hoods be in this nation, but not of this nation? And we submit that we got a formula for you. It's one hood under God. Have you noticed that We never called it by its full name. In every city, we just called the place where black people live the hood. What's the full word? Do you know why we don't call it that? Because the function of neighbor is missing from the environment we share space and time. See, whenever we are neighbors of one another, we are brothers and sisters of one another. That's why I wish that we could go back to the language that we had just in the 50s and the 60s. I wasn't back then, but I heard that it was just a common thing to call each other brothers and sisters. See, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was with God, and then the Word goes through a natural maturation process. The Word becomes flesh and dwells among men. Words don't just stay words. Matter of fact, you can never say that this is just words. We used to say back in the day, sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. That's a lie. Words are the creative force that God himself used to bring things into existence. In the scripture on the first page of the Bible, it says, God said, let there be light. He didn't hope and wish for it. He spoke it into existence. Then it says, and God said, let the stars adorn the heaven. And God said, let the firmament cover the earth. These things were called the glory of God, but when it came down to human beings called the glory of God, God said, let us make man. In the Holy Quran, it says it like this, that when Allah deems a thing, he simply says to it. He don't just hope and wish. He don't just think. He speaks it into existence. He says, be. And it is. This means that words don't just describe reality, but by the law of substitution, words have the ability to create a reality. There's a language and a vocabulary for everything. There's a vocabulary of success. There's a vocabulary for failure. There's soldier vocabulary. Is that right? Yes, sir. There's also a vocabulary for building a community and making a neighborhood. See, when we called each other brothers and sisters, by proxy, if I'm your brother and you're my sister, my son is your nephew and your daughter is my niece. That means that every problem we have is a family problem. See, if we really let that word be flesh, that's why in the nation, I don't care what title you have, you're going to be brother that or sister that first. And every now and then, you and I get comfortable with one another, and we'll start calling each other by a regular first name, and then someone will pull our coattails and say, no, Brother John. Sister Teresa. You can be a captain, but you're a brother or a sister captain. You can be a minister, but you brother or sister minister. You can be secretary, but you brother or sister secretary. Brother and sister come first. Why? Because whenever we began to be brothers and sisters and every child becomes our niece and nephew, then we graduate out of having sympathy for one another into having empathy for one another. Oh, there's a difference. If I got sympathy for you, that means that I don't like something bad happening to you. But when I got empathy, that means when it happens to you, I feel it like it happened to me. So when you got that kind of love for one another, you won't be in the corner gossiping, talking about what somebody's son or daughter is or is not doing, or what you've seen on social media. Hell, that's your niece. That's your nephew. You got to look out for your niece and your nephew. Matter of fact, I'm going to step out here and say it, and I'm going to tell you, watch how the parents bear witness to this. Sometimes your son and daughter can get a message better from the uncle or the aunt than they can from the mother and the father. Am I telling the truth? I remember, Brother Malik, I was at the mosque and I was coming around the hallway. And the brothers had my son talking to him in the hall. They couldn't see me. I could just hear them. And I was getting ready to hit the corner. And they was telling my son, well, telling him stuff I've been telling him. And keeping it all the way real, I said it better. And as I was coming around the corner and I'm listening to him, talk to him, here's my son. That's deep. I didn't say it, but I was thinking, nigga, please. I didn't say it. No, I was thinking it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I caught it, but I thought it. And I only took one step, Sister Charlene. And I said, wait a minute. What difference does it matter? Who he accepts it from, long as he accepts it. We can get a lot done when we don't care who gets the credit for it. So, assignment number 1, let's go back to using neighborhood building language, community building language, and start calling each other brothers and sisters. And by proxy, if we're brothers and sisters, every black child is our niece and our nephew. So we have a real big family in the area we call the hood. When you got a neighborhood, you can call and ask for eggs and they'll give you some. And see, I can see all y'all scratching your head. You haven't even heard of that before. See, when you have a neighbor, when your lights get cut off, you ain't tripping. You got an extension cord. You run that thing next door and you get on back online. Huh? Cable, Wi-Fi? You don't even ask. Hey, what's your password? Neighborhood. There was a time, brothers and sisters, and you don't even have to go all the way back to Africa. There was a time in black America that we were neighborhoods. There was a time where any adult in the environment could discipline the child. You outside Miss Maybelline's window? She over here, you cussing? You hear that thing unclack and slide up? Hey! Ain't you Martha's boy? I thought so. Down there using that little foul language. You stay right there, I'll be right down. And she go zip up that one zipper zip up gown. Come out there with them fluffy slide ins and beat your behind. Then walk you all the way back home. And say, Martha, look, I caught your little boy out there using some of the foulest language. I beat his behind. I just wanted you to know. Oh, you do that nowadays, everybody in the neighborhood shooting at you. CPS gonna show up. But back in the day, Martha wouldn't be mad at Maybelline. She'll say thank you. And then she'll bring you in there and whoop you one time for cussing, and then whoop you another time for embarrassing her in front of Miss Maybelline. That's a neighborhood. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. When you put the word hood on a word as a suffix, the dictionary says that it means the state, condition, or nature of the base word. But if you just remove the dash from in front of the suffix hood, It goes from a suffix to a proper noun. And when you look up the word hood as a proper noun, it is a piece of fabric that's attached to the back of a shirt, jacket, or a coat used to protect the head. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
I submit to you that what's going on in the hood is nothing more than a physical manifestation of what's going on underneath our hoods. The place we call the hood is nothing more than a physical environment that is made up of the collective consciousness of the people that share space and time in one location, put in physical form. Okay, y'all don't want to accept it like that, all right? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said that the only reason that our people live in the slums is because slum thoughts live in our people's mind. He said the outside reflects the inside. So if you look in the hood and it's dirty and disorganized, it's because we are thinking dirty and disorganized thoughts. If we look in the hood and it's broken and raggedy, it's because our mind is broken and raggedy. In the book of Proverbs 23:7, it says this, as a man driveth down the street, so is he. It didn't say that. As a man weareth, so is he. Oh, as a man haveth in his pocket, so is he. As a man what? So what is the God telling us more important than the pocket? More important than the clothes? More important than the house we live in or the car we drive? The mind is the most sacred entity, the most valuable possession that we have. For all thoughts become words. All words become actions. All actions form habits. Habits build character. And character produces future. But it all starts off as a thought. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
That's why when you look in the scripture, there's an invitation being made to those that really believe in Jesus. Look at this invitation. Let this mind be in you. The same mind that was in Christ Jesus. Jesus didn't have Mary's mind. Jesus didn't have Joseph's mind. He said he was the seed and the root and the offspring of David, but Jesus didn't have David's mind. In Romans chapter 1, it says concerning his son, Jesus the Christ, who was the seed of David according to the flesh, but declared to be the Son of God by the Spirit of holiness. That man had God's mind. Well, wait a minute. If Jesus had God's mind, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And we are invited to have that same mind, which is God's mind. If we accept the invitation to have God's mind, if as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, we got the mind of God, we are God. Okay, I see only about 70 of y'all agree with that. Didn't Jesus say the kingdom of God is? He didn't say it was in outer space. He said it was what? Didn't Jesus say that I've gone forth to prepare a place for you, that where I am, ye may also be? I know we thought that meant he went to go get a big gold chair and live on cloud 9. But in the words of the minister, let us disabuse your mind. That's a parable. That's a metaphor. It's written in poetic language because a wise teacher knows how to take the known and help you grasp the principles of the unknown. They know how to take the tangibles and convert them into teachables so that you can learn things that are new to you by studying what's already present that you know. Jesus ain't in the outer space living on no clouds nowhere. If he was up there, why do they call it space? We were driving in today and we drove past a store, a building that says space for rent, space for lease. If we'd have went to the window, wouldn't nobody have been there? Space is a geographical location that's unoccupied and uninhabited. You say, but the scripture says that Jesus, that he left on a cloud and he shall return in like manner. I'm telling you, that's got to be a parable. Because if it's literal, we got a problem. Go today in homework assignment, pull up the NASA website. And I want you to type in speed of clouds. Since that's the mode of transportation Jesus is using. They say the lower clouds, they move at about 6 to 10 miles per hour. And the higher clouds move at 60 to 100 miles per hour. When they compute the average, they say the average cloud travels at 60 miles per hour. Bible says that this heaven is past Pluto, beyond this solar system. Pluto is 4,600,000,000 miles from the sun. We are 93 million miles from the sun. So from the earth to Pluto is a 4,507,000,000 mile journey. So to get to heaven on the cloud, you're going 60 miles per hour, but you got to go 4,507,000,000 miles. By the calculation, in order for him to get to Pluto, it would take Jesus 8,569 years. Problem. What year is this? 2024? AD? So we only 2,024 years up from Jesus leaving? Hell, he ain't made to Mars yet, much less heaven. Being at the right hand of the Father is not an outer space existence. It's a thinking. It's a plane of power. It's a level of expression. It's a mindset. Are y'all still all right? Yes, sir. So in the scripture it tells us that we got to struggle because in order for us to let this mind be in us, we have to be ye not conformed to the ways of what? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your behind. What? It don't say behind. Well, what's going on with all the BBLs then? I wish we could get a different kind of BBL. A believing brain lift instead of a Brazilian butt lift. Be ye transformed by the renewing of the what? We live in a world of temptation. Do you know how bad the world has to be in order for the scientists to say and come to a universal agreement of this statement, truth is stranger than fiction? What kind of world we live in where truth is stranger than fiction? That means truth is the minority and falsehood is the majority. We live in a world where we are constantly wrestling between conformity and morality. What is conformity? It's doing what everybody else is doing regardless to what's right. What is morality? It's doing what is right regardless to what everybody else is doing. It's a struggle every day. Are y'all still all right? Transformation doesn't take place from plastic surgery. Transformation doesn't take place from moving to a new environment. We think, oh, you know what, I'm going to move to Phoenix. Reality is that what we are wrestling with has nothing to do with the air of LA. It has something to do with what's in this body. So we pack it in the bag whether we like it or not. A new address, a new outfit, a new haircut, a new hairstyle, a new man, a new woman, a new address. That don't make a new you. If as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The way you become a new you is you got to get a new mind. Are y'all with me? That's why when you backtrack it, as they say in this term, reverse engineer the statement that he, God, makes all things new. Well, first thing you got to ask is, who makes things? Things are made by people. So to have new things, you got to have new people. Well, how do you make new people? You got to put a new mind in the people. Well, how do you get a new mind in a people? They have to have a new teaching. And how do they get a new teaching? They got to meet a new teacher. That new teacher today is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's the new teacher with the new teacher to give us a new mind, to make us a new man and woman, that we can make all things new, one hood, under God. Brother Sound Man, is it okay if I use this mic instead? Thank you, sir. Because this is going to be a little rough. I've done so far this past 2 days, I think I've done 7 hours of interviews with no water. Oh, it's Ramadan. We're going to stay on our square. And I don't know, I think this mic is a little louder than this mic. What y'all think? All I need is one mic. Oh, sorry. So we're trying to keep it Ramadan Mubarak, but if I lose my voice, I'm going to be like Ramadan Mubarak. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Y'all still all right? Yes, sir. At the end of the day, this struggle between conformity and morality is a mind war. The scientists of this world, they say that there are 2 gates to the mind. But they're not quite accurate, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in How to Eat to Live, page 57, paragraph 3, he said that these 2 bodies, brain and digestive system, work together with one another. And what affects one affects the other. So we don't just have 2 gates that make up the raw material that we'll use in our mind to make our mind and make our life. There's another gate. It's called the mouth. Our mind won't be made strong just by watching what goes in the eyes or the ears. We also have to watch what we put in our mouth. Y'all still all right? Yes, sir. In the world of food and thought, there's only 2 types of food or thought: tonic or toxic. Tonic is food or information that promotes healing and is positive and good. Toxic is food or information that promotes negative, sadness, and causes disease and sickness. We got to be on post. Is that right? Yes, sir. All of our guests, we all got searched today, didn't we? Yes, sir. Well, you got to set up a search post in this temple. Oh, listen to me, brothers and sisters. Everything we do has deep meaning. The structure of the nation was born out of the mind of God. We sit right over left. Why? Because the left hand is the hand of expression of wrong, and we want to put our right, saying, I'm governing my wrong. I got it in place. Is that right? Yes, sir. You hear people saying, well, they haven't been out to the meeting in a while. Oh, brother, where you been? I say, ain't been feeling too good. Sister, where you been missing? I just been going through some things. Hell, that's the time to come. Sometimes just being around people that think like you, just hearing somebody say, Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, God? How you doing, Queen? It will lift your spirit. And if the words themselves won't do it, all you got to do is just give the greetings with the proper thought on your mind. And don't you know, I'm green. My brother, you're going to be my example. See, in the nation, you don't shake with one hand and leave this hand dangling. Now, when you greet your brother or your sister, you got to find that hand, that body, and touch them somewhere else. Is that right? And then we go what? Cheek to cheek. Heart to heart. What am I saying? I'm telling him, I got your back. And he's saying, and I got yours. But have you ever had a battery go out in your car? When you put them jumper cables on, you can't put one cable on. You got to have both of them on. Is that right? And you can boil a little juice from another person's battery. And in a matter of a few minutes, you go ahead and take them off. And you can keep your car running by itself. Sometime, FOI and MGT, you got to come to the mosque and get your jumper cables attached to your brother and your sister and get you a charge to get you back up and let your spiritual alternator kick in and keep you moving. Are y'all all right? Tonic, toxic. So at the temple, we asked you a question. Welcome, sister, brother. Is this your first time being here? Who invited you? Hey, please take everything out your pockets except for loose change and dollar bills. That's right. Yeah, why? No weapons are allowed in the temple. Is that right? Nothing that can harm anyone here can be brought into the temple. Truth? Well, when you set up your search procedure in your mind, you got to have it at the gate of your eye, the gate of your ear, and the gate of your mouth. And whenever that food show up, or that thought or that image shows up, you got to say, check one. Welcome here, brother, sister, idea. Is this your first time trying to get in my mind? Who invited you? Take everything out except that which is going to help make me become a God. But the rest of that, and if you start searching that brother or sister in the physical form and you run across a weapon, you grab the weapon, hold it, and hold them, and you holler, check one. Then you got to ask for reinforcement, come escort them out. But that person can't get in the temple. We got to do that with the food we eat. We have to do that with the information we take into our eyes and our ears. We want all tonic, no toxic. Are y'all all right? Thoughts are real. They're unseen, but they're not unreal. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said the average speed of thought is 24 billion miles per second. Average speed means some are slower, some are faster. The more clean, the more right, the more pure, the more positive, the faster thoughts can go. The faster thoughts can go, the more magnetic appeal they have. Do you know that in the head of man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we possess 14 billion brain cells. Cells are all shaped in a circle. Anything moving in a circular motion produces one or two forces, either centrifugal or centripetal. Centrifugal is when you spin an object and it pushes things away. Centripetal is when an object spins and sucks things too. Tornadoes follow the law of centripetal force. And the original PS5, a.k.a. the merry-go-round. Y'all don't know nothing about the merry-go-round. That's the original Xbox. The original video game. That's the first Fortnite. And don't you let Big T come over there. Big T that got them weights in his garage and let him get to hitting that merry-go-round. You better hold on for dear life. Get to the middle. Get to the middle. Centrifugal force will have you spent off and you will land down the street somewhere. Imagine if Big T can make the merry-go-round go at 23 miles per hour and it can throw you off, what could 24 billion miles per second do inside the mind? So the mind is so powerful that it doesn't just have one, it has both operating at the same time. So when you think something, whatever the nature is of our thoughts, we began to repel people, situations, and circumstances that are opposite what we think. And we began to attract to ourselves people, situations, and circumstances that match the nature of what we think. You really can think yourself out of this. Are y'all with me? But you can't just think it, you got to plan. You can't just plan, you got to work. You all right? Faith without works? Prophet Muhammad said you show mere belief accounts for nothing except that it's what? They always talk about the law of attraction. The Negro sitting in a room just thinking. What are you doing? I am attracting to myself millions. No, you better follow the law of attraction with the law of action. Maya Angelou said it like this: nothing will work unless you do. So we got to put in some work with the thoughts. Y'all still all right? Yes, sir. What's going on in the hood, brothers and sisters? It's just a physical replica of what's going on under the hood. If we're going to become one hood under God, we're going to have to stay the first hood that God made. Come on now, sir. We don't have enough time to go into it, but just remember that the first hood was in a garden. Where should our food come from then? A garden. Y'all got that? Yes, sir. Cheeseburgers don't grow in the garden. Pork chops don't grow in the garden. Is that right? It broke my heart the other day to see a brother in a Lambo in the McDonald's drive-thru. Messed me all the way up. Not just that he paid that much for the car and he don't want to pay nothing for the food, but even when he go put gas in the Lambo, it take premium octane. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to put the best, highest grade fuel in the car to get you from the east side to the west side. But what kind of fuel are you putting in the temple of God that he wants to use to get you from where you are to becoming one with him? No, if we want to have some tonic food, we're going to have to eat stuff from the garden. They don't have nothing tonic at McDevil's. They don't have nothing tonic at the Murder King or the White Casket or Long John Killers or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Security, y'all ready? You ready? They don't have good tonic food at Chick-fil-A. Now, you know, black people got an emotional attachment to three things. You can't say nothing negative about Jesus, Jews, and Chick-fil-A. You anything else now, I'm good, but you talk, no, what? Do you know, have you ever wondered why the lines are so long? 2, 3 lines lined up. It can't no sandwich be that good. We looked it up and found out that the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich has 52 ingredients in it, and 44 of them are man-made chemicals harmful to the human body. That's a dope sandwich. They really are flipping birds. Really. Just dope. some of y'all went yesterday because you knew it was closed today. And you got 2 of them at the house right now. Toxic. Toxic. Y'all still all right? In the first neighborhood that God created, and for the record, before you can get to a neighborhood, there's other types of hood we have to have in place. Brotherhood and sisterhood comes first. Y'all got that? Then we have to graduate from brotherhood and sisterhood and get into manhood and womanhood. See, the fact that a hood is a piece of fabric that covers the head lets us know that to be a man or a woman, it ain't about how old you are. What makes a real man or woman is what they have under their head. That's why our ancestors didn't allow you to call yourself a man or a woman just because you turned 18 or 21. Before we were kidnapped and Caucasianized and westernized by this enemy, they used to have something called the rites of passage. You had to prove yourself to the elders that you are worthy of being a grown woman or a grown man. They would have sometime the sisters walk across 30 or 40 feet of hot burning coals to prove that they were courageous. Have the little brother go out into the jungle and go kill a lion and bring him back to the village. There's got to be a better way. No, there's got to be a better way. I'm just saying what they used to do. There's got to be a better way. That's got to be. Now, if CPS want to show up, that's something they should show up for. Here I am. I'm 14 years old, and you give me a knife? Tell me go get a lion and bring him back? But the principle was, to be considered an adult male or female, you had to possess courage. I don't care what characteristic, attribute, gift we have. If we don't have courage matching with it, we won't be able to manifest it and put it in a service. See, what good is it to have knowledge if you're scared to teach? What good is it for you to have influence if you're scared to use it? What good is it for you to have money if you won't invest it in your own neighborhood, in your own people? It's a waste. So everything has to be married with some courage. Then they said that in order for you to be an adult, they would make all of the graduating class, they would give all of them a twig that represented them as individuals. And they would tell them, see if you all can break the twig that represents yourself. Everybody would snap it real easy. Then they would take the number, 25 of you all, give me 25 twigs. And hand it to each one. Say, now try to break it. Everyone would try to break. No one could break it. What was the lessons the ancestors were teaching us? That alone we are easily defeated by the outside force. But when we come together in unity, there's no force that could ever be able to break us. That was law. That was law. To be considered a woman, you had to prove to the elders that you knew the fundamental practice of being a mother and a wife. And to prove that you was qualified to be a man, we had to describe the function and the role of being a father and a husband. Yeah, proper preparation prevents a poor performance. So that's what it took. So brotherhood and sisterhood goes to manhood and womanhood. Then guess what ends up happening? Now you got fatherhood and motherhood. See, when you mix brotherhood, sisterhood, manhood, womanhood, motherhood, fatherhood together, it produces neighborhood. Those are the ingredients. Oh. I got 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I got one vote for 20. Can I get a second? I get 10 extra minutes? Okay, 10. Okay. All right, thank y'all. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Brotherhood, sisterhood, manhood, womanhood, motherhood, fatherhood makes neighborhood. But if you and I want to take it to another level and turn the projects into paradise, the ghetto into God's kingdom, and turn the hood into heaven, we can take it past manhood and womanhood, fatherhood and motherhood, and get into Godhood. That's what you joined the nation for. Hopefully. If you came into this just to be a believer, you're in the wrong spot. The Nation of Islam does not consider the finish line of faith belief. Belief is the start line. We didn't join the nation to learn how to believe in God. You came into this to become the God you believe in. This is the God-making spiritual system. Godhood. Brother Sally, they teach this at the MUI every day. Is that true? Yes, sir. Who is the original, meaning the first, the prototype, the ideal version, the one that came directly out of the mind of God and is God himself. He is the maker and the renter. He's the maker and the renter. Don't even sound right, does it? That lets you know we got to start owning something. Because just to say, if you just said maker, renter, it just take the whole thing down. Huh? You almost sucked all the air out the student enrollment. The maker, the renter. You don't even want to finish. The maker and the what? Owner. Cream of the planet Earth and the what? That's potential though. See, before you and I can be God of the universe, we got to be the God of a planet. Before we can be God of a planet, we got to be the God of a continent. Before we can be God of a continent, we got to be God of a country. Before we can be God of a country, we got to be God of a state, God of a city. Before we can be God of a city, we got to be God of a hood. Before we can be the God of the hood, we got to be the God of our house. And before we can be the God of the house, we got to be the God of ourselves. We have to establish freedom, justice, and equality, harmony and balance within this being. That's phase one of Godhood. All praise is due to Allah. So we in the garden, right? Yes, sir. Getting good tonic food. What was Eve so attracted to about this tree? It was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that this tells you and I what kind of man that a woman is looking for. She's attracted to the tree of the knowledge of good and evil because the tree had knowledge and was productive. Likewise, if you want a good woman, you have to have knowledge and be productive. Another lecture for another time. You all right? Yes, sir. So God says in here, let us do what? Make a man, right? So the first thing that has to take place if we're going to be one hood under God is men have to get back on our posts. We have to begin to regulate the affairs. We have to assume the divine masculine mandate and the gender-specific commands God gave to the man: maintain, protect, provide. We have to do that for our home, and we have to do that for our hood. Real men open doors. Sisters, I'm going to say some stuff that you can't say, because if you say it, it's going to cause a conflict. But if I'm saying it, see, I'm saying it, you're not saying it, you can say, that's right, go ahead, clap. And see, what happens is you get access to the ricochet effect. So when I say it, it's going to hit that black man's mind once. But when you say that's right, go ahead, say that. It's going to produce the ricochet effect, and it's going to double the absorption capacity of the subconscious mind of that black man and make the point and go even deeper. See what I'm saying? So never miss an opportunity to be able to. Y'all see where I'm going? Y'all know. Cameraman, rewind it. Take two. Take two. Sisters, we're going to take two. Are y'all all right? Men open doors. Men pull out chairs. Men protect. Men provide. When a man is in love with a woman, her wants become his goals. I thought y'all did better than that. I thought y'all did better than that. Brothers, I'm going to talk to the sisters on your behalf. Now, if I'm saying what is the truth, I want y'all to bear witness to it.
Yes, sir.
The ricochet effect.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. We got it.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Now, sisters, the last thing that a man wants to come home to after fighting in this world is to have to go round two with his own woman. Brother, now that's pretty decent. That's decent. That's decent. That's deep. Watch this, though. Watch this. And brothers,
Yes, sir.
the last thing that a black woman wants to come home to after fighting in this world is to come home to a man that ain't been fighting at all. One hood under God. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Men pay bills. Even whenever you are walking in a parking lot, men take the area where harm might come. They put you on the inside. Whenever someone shows up to the door, you as a woman, you don't answer the door, the man answers the door. When you come home, he goes in to make sure it's safe and sound. Is that the truth? That's what real men do. Men don't complain. Men don't make excuses. You say, why are you saying all of this? I'm saying all this because that's the first thing God did when he was making his hood. He put him in the garden and then made him a man. And then he said that it was not good for man to be alone. So he had to have him a queen. Is that the truth? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the woman is the natural reflector of the man. He said there's no such thing as a no good woman. Any no good woman was made that way by a no good man. Now, sisters, I want to just suggest something to you. Whenever you hear that phrase from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and you think no good man, don't stop at a bad boyfriend. Don't look at an ex-husband. Don't look at a sick uncle or a neglectful father. Whenever you put your scope in on the no good man that messed you up, go past grandfather. Go past uncle and ex-boyfriend and husband and brother and get to the real no good man that made you no good. And that's the white man. He's the one that taught us what we've learned that made us into what we are if we are no good. He's that no good man. All praise are due to Allah. Are y'all all right? Oh, man. Okay, I got 9 minutes left. Oh, I got to skip some stuff. Okay, all right. When the God made this first neighborhood, you got a garden, you got the man, you got to help me, right? Then they were given 4 instructions. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. The word replenish means to replace with something better. See, a real parent doesn't want their child to be like them. A real mother and father wants their child to be better than them. Am I telling the truth, mothers and fathers? That's replenish. Fruitful is the combination of ideas that bring birth to plan, that bring birth to institution. But multiply is a physical term that deals with the reproduction. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Parenting is multiplication. Mating is multiplication. Y'all still all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, one of the things that's been missing from us is that we've been doing a good job multiplying, but we weren't fruitful first. So we're bringing children into the world, but we don't have the systems set up for them to be able to even be properly nourished and nurtured so that they can inherit something from us when they become full grown. So fruitfulness becomes before multiplication, because fruitfulness is spiritual development. It's marrying ideas to bring birth to businesses and institutions that we can have a real neighborhood. I don't know how it is in Los Angeles, but in every other major city, you have a Jewish-owned payday loan spot. Huh? You got a Korean-owned beauty supply, Vietnamese nail shop, Italian-owned pizza joint, a Pakistani or Indian-owned convenience store attached to the gas station in your hood, and they sitting behind 4 inches of bulletproof glass, selling pork rinds and drug paraphernalia, and talking crazy, flirting with, and being perverted pedophiles with young black girls. If we had sense, we would break down that glass and start whooping some glass. I said glass. Whooping some glass. Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan. I said whooping some glass. On April 11th, drop the GL and y'all be all right. That means we have a colony, not a community. See, a community is when the people that live in an environment own the businesses in the environment, take the profit they get from the businesses, reinvest it in the quality of the environment, and increase the property value of said location. But a colony is when the people that do the business in the location get the lifeblood of economics out of that location, live somewhere else, and use your money to improve somebody else's neighborhood. How many of the Vietnamese at the beauty supply place live next to you? How many of the Koreans live next to you? Where's the Jews live? Where's the white man? The Pakistani, they out there with white folks. So you mean to tell me they come into our community like human leeches? Blood suckers of us as the poor? Suck out our life fluid of economic currency and then reinvest it to make our enemy's neighborhood better? If we had enough sense, we would start setting up shop right next door. LaQuisha's Beauty Supply House. Ray Ray's Nails. If we had enough sense. And then we should have the soldiers out there making sure you don't go to their spot. Every time you walk, you damn traitor. Punk. Disloyal. Uncle Tom. Aunt Jane. Or damn Uncle Remus. You look like going over there when your brother got a spot right now. Let me tell you something. One of the things that will help us get our colony into a community and get us back into being a neighborhood and one hood under God, we got to start shopping with our brother before we shop with another. Find somebody that look like you that has the good service or product you want and spend your money with your brother or your sister. All praise is due to Allah. Oh, 4 minutes. Are y'all all right? To properly multiply, we have to parent. And I just want to put this out there and suggest something to you. Children do not spell love L-O-V-E. Children spell love T-I-M-E. So if you have no time for them, they don't think that you love them. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu did a study nearly 20 years ago, and he said then that the average black mother only spends 34 minutes a day with their child. And the average black father only spends 7 minutes a day. So combined, we are making up 41 minutes of a 23-hour, 56-minute, and 46-second day. Question is, who has our babies' minds all that other time? Now I'm saying, I know it's hard to survive in this capitalist system. So we got to work hard and to make money just to even provide basic necessities. So don't be too hard on yourself as a mother and father because of what your sons or daughters come up to be. Our ancestors knew it took more than a good mother and father to make a great child. The axiom we used to govern ourselves under was it takes a village to raise a child. It means it takes all hands on deck. Everybody has to make an investment if our children are going to become great. That's one hood under God. Y'all still all right? Oh, I got to skip that. Y'all still okay? Yes, sir. Last but not least, the enemy has hijacked the position of the authority over our children's mind from us as parents. Yes, sir. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that whoever gives you the diameter of your thinking prescribes the circumference of your activity. It takes a certain amount of work to be happy. Come on. I'm going to say that again. I said it takes a certain amount of work to be happy. You can't just think warm, fuzzy, feeling thoughts and get happy. You have to accomplish something. You have to achieve something. You have to set a goal, meet adversity, overcome the adversity, and make yourself proud of you. That makes you happy. Why do you think in the lessons that when the Savior described the civilized man's job, he said we have to teach knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the science of everything in life, and pursuit of happiness. Pursuit means you got to hunt it down. Pursuit means you got to go after it. It ain't coming to you. You got to go get it. Happiness is not waiting next door. You got to go get the happiness. Y'all still okay? In 1950, the top 3 influences on black children was the home, school, and the church. Oh, that's better. By 1980, it became the home, TV, and school. By 1989, it was peers, television, and home. Home is 3rd place now. Peers is number 1. By 2007, it became peers, music, and social media. Church gone. School gone. Most importantly, home gone. They hijacked our position. Don't you know that if peers are number 1, that this is the young leading the young? Or the blind leading the blind? And if the peers are heavily influenced by music and by social media, whatever they give to each other is a product of what they got from a spider on the World Wide Web. Whenever you go through your timeline, they call it your feed. Is it tonic or is it toxic? When we listen to the music at the gate of the ear, is the music that black people are singing, is it tonic or is it toxic? So our children are being inundated by toxic music, toxic social media, a toxic environment, toxic information coming from one another. Before long, take enough toxins in and you become sick and die way too early. What's happening to the neighborhood? So I submit to us in the great city of Los Angeles that if we would get back into giving ourselves the requisite knowledge of brotherhood and sisterhood, manhood and womanhood, motherhood and fatherhood, we can go from hood to a neighborhood. And we wouldn't be like America, one nation under Satan. We could be in America, but not of America, one hood under God. Thank you for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.